Hi there, welcome back on the channel. As you can see, today we have another toy to review. And yeah, no, it's not the Golf GTI, but in some ways it's even better the fact that we have the Polo GTI today. The car is from 2018 and it has done about 75,000 kilometers until now. So let's see, we have the GTI, but what does that mean in terms of the Polo range? Well, surprisingly enough, we have a full-fat 2-liter engine. For the subcompact class, it's quite a large engine actually. It's the TSI model with 4 cylinders, obviously a turbocharger, and it develops 200 horsepower, something like 320 Newton meters, which is not bad considering the weight of the car, which is only 1.2, almost 1.3 tons. So nowadays, yeah, it's considered a light car. So the sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour happens in about 6.7 seconds actually, and the top speed, get this, is limited to 240 kilometers per hour. A VW Polo. Yeah, I know, sounds like fun. Not necessarily relevant here in Romania, but anyway. So yeah, it's the Golf GTI configuration in a way, but a bit tuned down so that this model doesn't outsell the bigger brother and or the other configurations from the VW group with the same engine. In terms of consumptions, yeah, it's not gonna be amazing because it's still in that era where the engines were supposed to be fun and develop a lot of performance, and consumptions were on the second plan actually. But yeah, this one, I saw that it has an average on long term of about 8.6 liters or something like that. Obviously on the highway you will see values as high as 9 or even 10 liters, depending on your driving style actually. And inside the city, yeah, you'll probably see values as around 12, maybe 13 liters, something like that. Not necessarily relevant. You don't buy this one for the consumption figures, you buy it to have fun with it and in need to use it like a daily car. Even though it goes beyond warm hatch, in my opinion, it's actually quite a hot hatch for a subcompact vehicle, it still needs to be practical, even though it's fun most of the time. So yeah, as you can see, we have the usual carry-on luggage in here, which fits exactly in place. I reckon you can fit about 4 of them in this space. You also get a small pocket on the left side and, surprise, a spare tire with some additional space actually, which again, it's quite nice to see. I don't think that you're expecting much from the back seats, but yeah, obviously the materials are hard and brittle, even here on the armrest, which is a bit unfortunate, but at least you do have sort of a cup holder storage space in here, electric windows, some storage space in here, and a light fixture, because otherwise that's pretty much it. Nothing on the center console and no armrest as well. Something to be expected at this class. Even though it's a subcompact class type of vehicle, as you can see, I do fit back here. I do have enough space with the front chair way past the B-pillar of the car. I do have about 2 fingers of space for my knees, and more than a palm of space for my head because of this boxy design of the car. I can also stretch under the front chair, and yeah, I do not have enough under thigh support, at least not for my height, but anyway, for the most part, it's a subcompact car, so it's more than fine back here. Going towards the front part of the car, the materials are the same actually, which is a bit unfortunate, but at least you do have some decor element, which is actually quite nice. And as a plus, we have some textile here on the armrest, and it's a bit softer compared with the back part. Then we have the chairs, which are delightful in my opinion, with this classic design. They're quite sporty. You do have a lumbar support, manual at least, and also the controls are manual as well, but at least you could adjust it by height. The door closing sound is alright in my opinion. You do have a lot of space actually in front as well. You have the same decor element here and here. Obviously the materials are gonna be hard and you will rest your knee on it, but it's something to be expected in this class. Not much of a piano black use in here, except this one, which you are gonna use quite a lot, I think. And also the glove box is not covered, but at least it's quite deep, and you do have an SD card reader in there. At the driver's side, obviously we have the same door card with an addition of controls for the electric windows, the outside mirrors, and locking and unlocking of the doors from the inside. On the left side of the steering wheel we have the gauge, not the gauge plus, the light control. The seat itself is identical with the one from the passenger side. And if we take a seat inside, this is actually the driver POV. Let me just start the car. So, the steering wheel, in my opinion, one of the nicest on the market actually. They really nailed it. We have the GTI logo here, physical controls. On the left side we have adaptive cruise control on a VW Polo. That's nice. The right side controls the small info display from the gauge cluster. And talking about the gauge cluster, there's the consumption, as you can see. You also get one of the most important information in my opinion, the oil temperature, and also actually the color of the gauge cluster. It's quite nice. It's easy to read. Moving on, we have the light fixture with a sunglass holder. Yay! The mirror is dimmable, but it does have a frame. The infotainment screen, it's alright. You do get these additional gauges. Also, with the temperature of the oil in here, you could set it, which again is nice. You also have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, whatever. It responds way quicker than newer models, so yeah, it's fine by me. Lower down we have the climate unit with heated seats, and as you can see we do have physical buttons, once again a plus in my opinion. A couple of USB ports, a wireless phone charger, the gearbox with double clutch, the start-stop system, the activation of the traction control, the driving modes, and the parking sensors. The parking brake, it's physical. It's a mechanical lever. When was the last time that you saw something like this? Yeah, it does have pluses and minuses in my opinion. Then we have a 12-volt outlet, a couple of cup holders that are not adjustable, unfortunately, a small cubby there, and another one under the armrest, which is adjustable. So again, that's nice. Welcome to the driving part of the review. Today with the GTI. Yeah, I know it's just a Polo GTI, but even so, it's more than adequate to bear the name GTI. I've been driving the car for a moment, and I'm about to leave the expressway in order to get back on it and to do a sprint with the car, so you can see what's what. Firstly, I'm gonna do it in normal mode and in drive, like you would otherwise use the car on a longer trip, let's say. All right, there was some road works anyway, and again another one. So yeah, I'll do the sprint first try in normal mode, then I'm gonna leave this stretch of road once again to do the sprint in sport mode and with the gearbox in sport as well. I know it's not necessarily the right drive for this platform. I could have probably go with it on a twisty bend, but unfortunately the time needed for something like that was not sufficient. The time that I have with the car was not sufficient, so I had to do the small test drive. Anyway, we are gonna get back to the high-speed stretch of road, which is limited to 100, and I'm trying to go from 30 or maybe 40 kilometers per hour. Let's see. That was it. A couple of seconds, or maybe a second, for the gearbox to think about what I'm asking of it. But you'll see, it's not the same when you have the car in sport mode. But even so, considering how light the car is, I think that the response and the times were pretty decent. You do have to keep your wheels straight if you want to get the most out of the 200 horsepowers, because otherwise it's gonna spin up the wheels. The traction control is gonna light up like a Christmas tree or something like that. But anyway, that's the fun part of the car, actually. It doesn't have too much power, at least for a non-professional driver to enjoy on the weekends. It's more than fine. You could go even lower if you go for the Up GTI, which I think only has something around 125 horsepower and a manual gearbox, but again, it's even lighter than this one. But this one is again more than fine with the DSG gearbox and the 200 horsepower engine. Yeah, obviously you have the Golf GTI and some other iterations, but those are even heavier, with a bit more power, and in my opinion a bit more civilized. I'll talk more about what I mean in a moment. But until then, I'm gonna switch the car to sport mode. You could switch the gearbox only or the whole driving mode, and watch what happens with the RPMs when you go below 2000. The car won't let you go below 2000 actually. She wants to be in the right power band with the right revs in order to enjoy the most out of this engine. So the gearbox is downshifting, which is a bit strange in a way, but once you get used to it, it's actually quite nice. Now let's hope the traffic will allow me to do the sprint once again. Trying to go at around 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. does it. The noise that the engine makes is a bit different. If you put the car in individual, you could actually switch between eco, normal and sport sound for the engine, which I guess is a bit pumped inside the cabin through the infotainment screen, the infotainment system. But it's sort of natural. I don't really hear it. It doesn't bother me. So, in my opinion, it's fine. So yeah, I was talking about the Golf GTI. Obviously, that one has a bit more power, but it's more civilized. The gearbox, I think it's the 7 gear, not the 6 like this one. So a newer gearbox. The suspension is a bit softer. You also could have get adaptive dampers on the Golf. Let's see, the noise levels inside the cabin obviously are gonna be better. It's a well-rounded car, a bit better rounded than this one because it's a bigger car, more comfortable when you want it. But it's not necessarily more fun than this, because this one is lighter. And you could actually play with it a bit more compared with the Golf GTI. And as I said, for a non-professional driver, if you want to have some fun with the front-wheel drive car, you don't have to go for the Golf or the, I don't know which one is the top dog, the Civic Type R, which has more than 300 horsepower only on the front axle, so maybe that's a bit much. Here with 200, more than fine. And the overall feel of the car is more than fine. Yeah, not necessarily for a long trip, but the suspension is pretty hard, but not harsh, not in a way that's gonna upset your back. The noise levels obviously are not amazing because this is a subcompact car after all, and it's quite short. You do feel a lot of the tires inside the cabin. You hear the suspension as well, especially on smaller bumps. But at least the engine is not protruding when you don't want it to be heard inside the cabin. So all in all, it's an interesting concept. It feels a bit more grown up than it should probably. But maybe that's a good thing, because for the most of the time, if you buy a hot hatch as your only car, you'll probably, in 60-70% of the time, you will use it like a regular VW Polo, and you don't necessarily want it to be harsh and loud and uncomfortable most of the time. So yeah, I'm pleased by that. The only downside, and I'm gonna switch the discussion towards the thing that I'm not impressed and the things that I enjoy about the car, it's actually the fuel consumption, which, as I said, is not gonna be great, but it depends on how you use the car, obviously. Let's see, for now I do have 5 liters, but I've been driving quite constantly at about 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. Maybe it's not relevant, but from fueling it does show 9 liters, which again, it's quite decent in my opinion, considering the performance of the vehicle. So the downsides, in my opinion, let's see. Yeah, the materials are not great inside the car, but come on, it's a subcompact car. You have to expect something like this. My problem is not necessarily with the fact that all the materials are hard and brittle. I have a problem with the way they were screwed together. Every time you close the door, or I don't know, you rest your knee on the center console, things like that, could make the plastics rattle, and it's sort of an unpleasant feel inside the cabin. And yeah, the cup holders are a joke. I mean, they could not hold a butter or a cup, nevertheless, especially if you consider the fact that you might do something like this from time to time, and especially on a twisty road, no, not a chance to hold something in the cup holder and not spill it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I do manage my expectations. I know what type of vehicle it is, and I'm not disappointed. On contrary, actually. So yeah, I don't have much to complain about. So I'll switch to the things that I enjoyed, actually, because yeah, on one hand is the driving feel, because it does feel like a larger vehicle than it actually is. It's quite comfortable when you want it to be, and quite fun when you want it to be fun. So yeah, all in all, nice. It does have sort of a kart feeling sometimes, maybe not so much as a Mini Cooper, or the Mini Cooper S or the JCW, but I'm yet to drive one of those to leave my impression of it. But I heard that this one feels a bit more grown up, as I said. Although for the most part, most of the time, we'll probably get by even nicer with something a bit grown up. I don't know, maybe it's just me. So yeah, I do like the feel inside the car, the way it drives. I like the seats, even though they're not ideal, nor are in the VW Golf, so that's that. And also I like the steering wheel. It feels nice, it feels perfectly in my hands, so yeah, interesting. A bit of understeer. Once again, something to be expected. So yeah, those are the things that I enjoyed, actually. And to end the review, I think I should mention the maintenance aspects for a moment, because yeah, being a petrol engine, you should probably go at around 7,000 to 8,000 kilometers between oil changes, especially if you do enjoy the car, as you should. Stretch it to around 10,000 if you're using the car only outside the city. If you're using it inside the city and enjoy it from once in a while, maybe you should lower that interval to around 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers. The gearbox requires some maintenance at about 50,000 kilometers, as does the spark plugs of the engine. But other than that, I mean, not much to talk about, because in terms of brakes, tires, or suspension, it's not gonna be a problem. The car is pretty light, and yeah, even if you enjoy it from time to time, I'm not gonna see that as a problem. And when you will have to buy some new tires or brakes, it's gonna be that cheap. So yeah, go for it, have fun. It's meant to be enjoyed, so why not? So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much my review of the model. In conclusion, I would like to say that yes, I enjoyed the car, I understand it, I like it, I would consider it, but as a second car. And I don't know, maybe if I could find one which is a low mileage, something like that, because I would not necessarily buy it from new. Obviously nowadays it's quite expensive. Actually, I'm not even sure if they still sell them, at least here in Romania. But even so, as I said, nowadays it feels like it's quite expensive, but a used one should be more than fine. Yeah, that's gonna pretty much gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. As usual, I would love to see your impressions in the comment section. And until next time, thank you for watching.